which is public static void main string args. Do you understand what is this here?
Yeah, yes, Kalyan.
Okay. Okay. So for the people who are not aware, I'll be covering this, but if there is any doubt or any clarifications you need, you can stop me in middle. I will clarify them and move forward with the next step. Okay. So as part of learning this first Hello World program that we have here, so we'll be learning several things on the go. So these are fully focused upon the interview, preparation oriented, so that any point that I am telling here, so that will be directly coming to your interviews. So you can have a short notes on it or some. I mean, anyways, you will have recording. However, you feel comfortable, you can keep attention on this so that you can be quickly answering the questions during your interviews. Or I'll also share you the interview questions document post this session, so that that will also be helpful for you to prepare for your interviews. Let me note this. Okay. So first point is public. Uh, so I'll be explaining each keyword here one by one. So these are very important for behind this each keyword there is some background of it, and we need to know them, so to understand the real time problems, and also to answer the questions in the interview. So the public part, which we call it as access specifier. Okay. So I'll be noting it on here. Or modifier. So we have public, private, protected, default. So these are four access specifiers or modifiers we have we are using in Java. So public in the sense, if we put public before any class definition or before any method definition. Okay. So that indicates that this method or class can be accessible anywhere. Okay. So public indicates anywhere. That any variable or method, if we declare it as public, so that can be accessible from anywhere. So name is equal to swags. So I need to declare it. Okay. So I'll explain you about this method definition, how to declare a method, how to write a class, how to define and declare a variable down the line. Don't have to worry about that. So this is the starting point where I'm going with keywords, and then we'll go with variables, method definitions, declarations, and how the class has to be declared, everything. Okay. So public means accessible everywhere. And then private is only accessible within the class. then protected, is accessible within the package and up to subclasses of the up to subclasses of external packages. Outside the package. Then default, its scope is up to package. Hope you're clear. So here there are several terminologies which you might not aware, which is package and subclass. So these are the two terminologies. Okay. So here the main class is under the folder SRC, right? So then practice, you see whatever here is going to be a package here. Okay. And I can create a new package as well under SRC, which is training, something like that. So people will declare training.swats.com, something like that. So whatever you write, that will be visible here. It is just a name. And inside that, we can have classes, which is main. I can say hello world. So you see here, package keyword Haskell, so which is defining training.swats.com. So default scope, which I have mentioned here, if you don't mention any access specifier or modifier, then its scope is limited to the specific package. Okay, so outside the package, the variable or the method is not accessible. And if you write a private, so if I put private here, so this particular name variable is not accessible outside the main class. So as I've declared here, within the class, private access specifiers or modifiers will be accessible. And protected, we will also name it as package protected. Okay, sorry, default is named it as package protected. Okay, so it will only be accessible within the package and outside the package up to the subclasses. So subclass means is something when we call about interface or inheritance, we will come to know about the subclass. Suppose if I write hello world extends main, then the hierarchy is like this. See, you see here, there is an error, cannot resolve main class. So where is main class? Main class is outside the package. There is one related problem here. So if I want to get the main class here, I need to import class. Oh, this is not the home. Sorry. Extends main, which is the class, right? I'm just putting main inside the practice here. And then I'll try to import the class. So main of practice. So this main class as it is outside the package, so it is not accessible here. Then we have given package name, import practice.main. Then this is available here. So if I want to access any variable like name, which is, if I name it as protected data type, I mean protected access specifier. So it can be accessible here in our main method. Yeah. I'm just writing a sysout. So I'll explain about this a little later. You'll come to know more details on this. So hello. And I want to get the name here. So main class name is protected and string. As it is non-static, we have to instantiate it. For now, I'm mentioning it as static. The hello world. See, there is no error. So let me run this method. Yeah. The output is hello Swats. So we got Swats name through the name variable. So the name value is mentioned in here. So if I mention it as private, and if I go here, it is showing, it must be showing an error. So which says that name has private access in practice main. So we don't have access to get the name value until this package and this class, because private access specifiers are limited for this specific class only. Hope it is clear for everyone about the private access specifier.
Yes.
Or any doubts so far?
Yeah, yes, Kalyan.
Okay.
Could you increase the font? We cannot see that.
Oh, okay. Let me try. Is it fine now?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so as we declared it as private, in the hello world program, we cannot access the name. So, and if I put it as, if I don't mention any access specifier, it is still not accessible. Why? Can anyone answer? Why the name variable is not accessible in the training swats.com package with the default access specifier here?
Static. Because it's static, right? So
No. Static variables can be accessible anywhere. Static is a different story. It indicates that whether we have to call this variable with object or with class name. So that depends with that will be working for static variable or non-static variables. So that is not the reason. So the reason is from these concepts. Okay. So if we don't mention any access specifier, it will be a default access specifier. Okay. So default, if you see, it is package protected. So it is only accessible within the package. So what is the package of this variable? The name variable is in the package called practice. Okay. So in this practice package, any class you write, then the name variable will be accessible to that. And if you go outside this package, which is practice, the hello world is outside the practice package, which is in trainingsmarts.com. So it will not be accessible. Let me write another class inside the practice. Which is test default. Okay, and I'm writing a method getName. So getName should have an access specifier. Like we can mention any of the 4 access specifiers like public, private, default, or protected here. And then static or non-static. For now, I'm leaving it as static until you guys know about non-static. And then return type we have to write here. So return type is something, and I'm returning a string here. GetName. So here I'm trying to print the same name. So I'm writing a string here, name from main. Okay. And I'll write one. Okay. So name is not available here as well. Okay. Yeah, we have to refer the class name. Sorry. Let me write main.name. It is still not accessible here. Let me write main dot name. So this is accessible here. So let me call this getName. Sorry, someone is saying something. Okay. So let me call getName from the main execution here. So to call the getName, I have to call with class name, which is test default dot getName. Okay, let me execute main method now. So what is this main method is doing now? So first printing hello world, and then it is calling test default, a method in the test default class. So getName method in the test default class. If I go into the getName method, what is there here? So it is printing the name from main called main.name. So what is main.name in the main class, which is Sweats. So we have to print hello world first, and then when we call getName method here, name from main class, whatever name that is passing from the main class, that has to be, that is there in the main class has to be printed. So let's see how the execution will go. Oh, sorry. Let me give you wide. See, it has printed. I mean, I have commented this line this because it is giving compile time error, because this is something is not accessible as it is outside the package. Hence, I have commented. Yeah, when we are executing main class, so it is executed hello world, and it went to get name method. Here it is printed name from main, which is passed from here. So as the test default class is within this practice package, so then we are able to access the name variable. And whereas same case here, if you are writing same like main.name, it's not accessible outside the package. So that is the difference between for how that is how the default keyword will be working. Okay, and coming with the subclass stuff. So if it is not a subclass, and if I mention the variable as, so you got public and you got private and you got default. Now I'll show you how the protected will work. I've already shown, but quick revamp. So I'll just write it as protected here. So if I put it as protected, and then when I go here, if I'm not extending this main class, so then it says name has protected access in practice main. So this is not accessible. And if I'm extending this one, then it is accessible. Okay. So extends, which indicates superclass subclass relationship or parent child relationship, which means that, so here the parent class is main and the child class is hello world. So this main class has a variable called name, and that is accessible outside the package because the hello world is extending main class. So that is how the protected will be working. So any doubts so far about this concept of access specifiers? So this is how it, yeah, okay. So yeah, so this is how it will be working for access specifiers, even though for methods also. I mean, even for the methods, or even for the classes as well. So here we are writing access specifier here. So every method name, class name, or variable name, they will be first starting with the access specifiers during their definition while declaring or defining them. So access specifiers is the first one that it will be starting with. Okay. So there we are closing the access specifiers in our main method execution. So that we started about all this discussion starting from the first keyword of our main method. Okay. And then static. So what is static? So this is going to be a kind of again keyword related to access specifiers or modifiers section, which are static and non-static. So we will write a keyword for static. For non-static, there will not be any keyword. Okay, if we don't write anything, then it is going to be default non-static. Here, same as default. If you don't write anything, then it's a default package. Sorry, default access specifier. Suppose if I'm not writing anything for this, then it's going to be default access specifier. Like for our get name method, I'm mentioning without I'm writing any I'm not writing any access specifier, and also not writing any static or non-static declaration. So this is how it is going to be. And here, if we write a static, so what it will do for the static thing? So any variable or method name, if you write it as static, so that is available, which means that member or that variable name or method is available to call with just a class name. So you can write just the class name dot variable name. And whereas with non-static, you must have instantiated object and the variable name. Okay, so this is how the syntax has to go with. So let's see with couple of examples quickly here. So right now it is protected. I'll be asking a couple of questions during the process. You should be able to answer them, each one of you. So then I'm mentioning it as I'm not declaring any variable here, and trying to. So we are in the main class. Hope you all clear about it. And I've written protected without any access modifier like static or non-static. I've declared a variable, and I'm removing this hello world because I'll come to that later. I'm not calling any method now. So just writing my organization name is. So can anyone tell? Okay, let me put this. What should I write here to print SWATs? My organization name is SWATs. Should be printed. Sorry.
You can write just plus and name.
Okay. Yeah, that is how it has to be. So then we will be printing same text as the output, and then name as SWATs. Okay, this is how it we have to write if we are writing within this class and we are writing it as name. Then suppose if I wanted to remove, okay, sorry. Let me go to other class. So this is protected, and I'm here. Like this class, just to avoid confusions. Okay, so SWATs. I'm just calling a method print method. Okay. So there is no print method anywhere. Let me create a new class, which is of name print and method print. So So what should I be writing here to get this output after plus? Who has answered the last question? Is it
That's
Aina? Okay, Datta.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Kalyan.
Sorry. I was just asking who has answered the last question.
Okay.
It is Datta, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now, what should be the not from Datta, anyone else? What should be the code that I have to write here to get this output? My organization name is WATS should be printed. So I've written my organization name is WATS. My organization name is and colon already, and I have to write something here so that SWATs will be printed here. Any
Again, name, maybe.
okay? So just name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can say good try, but name, if you simply write name, so the Java compiler will look for name for the specific class. Okay, so we have written name. So it will look for this name variable inside this class only. So because we don't have name variable anywhere here, so then it is giving error. Our name variable is outside this class.
Then it should be public.
Yeah, let me put it as public. Okay.
We're writing like main dot name.
Calling. 1 second, please. Okay. Yeah, it is public now. Swartz is coming. Swartz's name variable is in public, but still it is not accessible here. Sorry, you said someone said something. I interrupted them.
Like main dot name. I mean, since the name is declared in the main
Yes.
function.
Correct. So we have to call. If you want to call any variable outside the class, and it is static, you have to write that particular class name and the variable name, dot the variable name. So that is how we learned here, right? If it is a static variable, class name dot variable name. So then we can access this value to this class, which is main dot variable name. It is giving the value called SWATs. Okay. Now, so that is how the static will be. So let me try with Let me put it as protected. Okay. I'm creating a new package just for this example. So this is going to be a question again. Get ready. Training. Sorry. I'm creating a new package called training and giving this, relocating this print class here with training package. So now we are here with main.name. So now I have to get the output. My organization name is SWATS here. So why is it giving error? Main.name is giving error. Can
Yeah, I mean, you need to import the practice package to the training one.
Practice package have to be imported. Okay. Import practice. .name. Okay, I have imported it. Yeah, now the main class is accessible here, but it is saying it is giving an error with name. Name as protected access specifier in practice main. So how can we correct this? Can anyone else answer? So why is the name variable is not accessible here?
You have to make public the main.
Yeah, that is correct answer. If we maintain it as public, so then we will not be having any error. I think here.
P is small letter. I mean, it's mentioned with capital P.
Sorry, yeah. Why is this error now? Okay, there is no error. Good. But there is some error somewhere. Okay, we have to import private. Import string. Training. Okay. No, still there is an error. This cannot be called.
public static void.
Okay. Now, yeah, if we maintain it as public variable here, then it is accessible. But if I wanted to still maintain it as protected variable and want to access it here, so then what could be the solution? This question is for Datta.
So I think we have to make print also protected.
Print also protected here. So if we maintain print as protected, so it is going to impact to the people whoever is calling to the print. Okay. So they should keep in mind that this print method, which they are calling, is within their package or outside the package up to the subclass. But our problem is not with print method now. The problem is with, especially at the part of the code. Now, name variable is not accessible. Why? So name we have in the main class, and we are trying to access it outside this package. And we are looking for the name variable here. So let's go back to the protected access specifier here. What we have written, protected is accessible within the package and up to the subclasses outside the package. So now we are trying to access the name variable outside the package. So if we are on the outside of a package, here I've written, if we are in the outside of the package, so to access this, we have to have parent class and superclass subclass relationship between these two classes. Okay. Now main and parent are two separate independent classes, and both of them are also not in the same package. But still, if a protected member which we are trying to access, see the error is clearly mentioning name has protected access in practice main. Okay, in the practice main class we have name variable, and that is of protected access. So if we are trying to access it here, we have to have a relation between print class and main class.
Extends main class.
Yeah, extends main class. If we write that one, so then there is no error. Okay, let me try to print this and observe how the execution will be going here. So it started with main method here. It is calling the print method and executing the code here. Okay, so far is it clear about static and access specifiers? And the next question, before we go to next question, any doubts so far?
No.
Okay. So next question should be after I explain about non-static. Okay, so let's go to non-static. So if we are not mentioning about this print method, I'm not mentioning anything. So then, as per this explanation that I have given, non-static, how to access the non-static. So then we have to instantiate the object and the variable, dot variable name. So then it can be accessible. So to call the print method from the main method, as it is non-static, I cannot call directly with a class name. So right now I'm calling with a class name. Like how because it was previously static, I've called class name dot variable name or method name. Right? So this is how we can call for the static members. either they are static variables or static methods. We can call with the class name dot respective variable name or method name. Now, as the print method, which is not declared as static, and we can call them as non-static method. So to call the print method here, we have to have an object of it. Object of which class? Print class. So object of print class we can get by calling new class name and 2 parentheses. Okay. So by writing this, we are instantiating the print class here. New print dot print. So then an instantiation of a print class has happened here, and then we are calling this print method. So then we will try to execute it. So it called the main method, came here, a new method, a new print class has been instantiated. Now we have an object for the print class, and we are calling the print method. Then in the print method, the code has been executed. Okay. So now the question is to Sunita or Himabindu. You can keep an eye on this. I'm removing the static variable from here. And we're getting error here. So can anyone answer? Either of you, Himabindu or Sunita. So what should we write here to fix it? Why the name variable is not accessible here? Any inputs? Repeat the question. We have private string name swats as a variable here. Okay, sorry, protected string name swats variable. So the execution will start from main method, and we are calling print method. And in the print method, we have this logic. Like my organization name, it is trying to print the name variable here, but it is not accessible here. Fixing it. Okay. So did you understand what is static and non-static discussion that is going on here? Return just the print. What is print here? Print is just a class. Okay. I'm trying to call print method with class reference. Okay. Let me go to print method and make it static. So when this is a static method, we are able to call this with the class name reference. Okay, like print is a class name, and there is another print.
Yes, that's
is
a
a
variable.
method name.
Okay.
So we can call this print method name using a print class name reference. But if I am removing it as static, so then which indicates that whatever I have mentioned here, when I remove static, then it is going to be non-static member. We have a print method inside the print class is non-static method. To call this non-static method, so we cannot do this with the print class name. because it is non-static, we have to call with we have to instantiate the object and then call the variable name or method name, right?
Mhm.
So then, let me correct the sentence here. So as we have to instantiate this one, just before this print, I'm making a new keyword and parenthesis here, which indicates that this is going to be a object now.
Okay.
Okay, this is a print class is instantiated as an object here. So then this print class is instantiated. We are with print instantiated object and calling a method or variable name. Hence, it is called. Okay. So similar way, I mean, whatever I have explained, static or non-static, you can try to correlate the same case here, like protected member is non-static now. Previously, it was static. Okay, when it is static, we are able to call the name variable from here.
Yeah.
And if I remove a non-static, so then it is giving error.
Then we have to instantiate the object and we have to call the string
Correct.
variable name.
Correct. Yeah. So that is how it has to be fixed. So I can write new in main class here. Somehow it's still not accessible. Let me see what is this. Name has protected access in the practice main. Okay, we are extending it, right? Yeah, you're right. So then let me try to see why is it not. Okay. Steps main. Okay. Let me remove this package specific. And try to erase this. So try to put this here and then right here. Now what is the error? Now what is the error? Name is not public in practice main. Yeah, observe the package, right? Okay. So, okay, we fixed it. We are able to call this name variable even though it is non-static by instantiating the class name
And the
But-
variable.
and the variable. Yeah, good. So there ends with static, non-static discussions. Okay. So wherever you go, mostly the calls will be happening like this. So you have to keep in mind their access scope and static, non-static access. Okay. Depending upon this, so the calls will be happening in the entire Java code wherever you see. So from now on, I'll be asking repeatedly questions on this wherever whenever I'm writing any code. So you have to be in a position to answer this. So if you want, you can refer them one more time after your after the session. So they will be much needed to understand the scope of our program when we are writing it. So these will be very basic stuff when you go with when you're referring a code or debugging a code, you have to understand this part. Okay. To move on, let me see what we can start with next one. So where are we? With public static void main. Coming back to
Main method.
the main method. Yeah. I have deleted this, deleting this.
Kalyan, and one just.
Yeah. Tell me please.
So, you created the print package, sorry, the print class, right?
Yeah.
So whenever, you are using the print package, sorry, whenever you are using the main package in print or the print package in the main, we need to create an object and then use, or no? Like creating a new object.
Okay. Let me create. Let me create a package. If you must. Just to avoid confusions, I'll be creating a class with execute. Apply method. Okay. Click. Apply. Yeah. So can you repeat your question? Is it Kiran?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
Kalyan.
Yeah. Tell me, Kiran. I
So
didn't
to
get
use-
your question clearly.
To use the, execute class, in the main method. So we need to create an object of the execute class and then call the object in the main class, right?
Yes. To call any methods in the execute class, okay, if they are static methods,
okay.
okay, then you can directly refer to that particular method, like execute dot
Apply.
as it is a static method.
Okay.
If it is not static method, non-static method, then it will give you an error. Non-static method apply cannot be referenced from a static content. So you cannot execute that. So to call this apply method, you have to instantiate the execute, which is like this. You can write like this, or the same code, new execute, you can put it here, then assign it to one execute type variable. Okay. And this execute variable, with that
We will be calling
execute variable, you can
yeah.
call the apply method.
And the execute we can create in the main class, or we need to create in the execute class itself. Will there be a problem? Like,
You can also create this execute instantiation here. That's up to our requirement.
okay.
Okay. If you want to execute, suppose if there is another method, okay, public void, can you tell me another name, method name? Get. Okay. Assume this method is there. If you want to call this method, get method, from the apply method, because the get method is non-static, okay, so we have to call it using the instantiated executed object. Sorry. Like this. The get method is called with the instantiated execute class. Okay.
Yeah, yes, Kalyan.
Okay. Any other questions? Himabindu, are you clear about the explanation so far?
Yes, Kalyan.
Okay, good. Yeah. Let me remove and go back to the main method. Okay, so we are done with public static level and then void. What is void here? So basically this method signature, how the method signature will be. So you can note it down first. I'll write it as first the access specifier, then space, static or non-static, then space, return type, then space, method name. Think I have to put it everything in some notepad. That would be helpful. You are not able to see my notepad yet, right?
No, Kalyan.
Let me share it. Okay. Is it visible now?
Yes.
Now the topic is how the method signature will be there. Okay. I'm writing an example. Public static void main string array args and system dot out dot print. So if you find any words are new, you can raise questions on that. So I'll let you know if I can clarify them now or I will explain if that is really needed at the later point of time. So the thing is, you have to raise the questions, otherwise you will be you will not get the later parts of the Java course. So this is very basic stuff. Even though you get any Java developer job, if you want to work on there, so you have to definitely know this basic stuff. Otherwise, people will catch you immediately. Okay, so these are the, even though if you are taking some support externally with anyone, so if you don't know this stuff, you will be caught in the job duties whenever you are doing. It will be a problem for you guys. So it is better to have this basics with you handy anytime to expose when you're exposed to the job. So you have to let people I mean, you have to give some confidence to the people that you know something and you can give an attempt to get something or deliver something during your job duty. So to get that, these basics are very important. So you can raise questions at any point of time if you feel that they are not clear for you. You will have method arguments. I can say logic here. Okay. So we covered up to this extent today so far. And the next thing is return type. So return type right now in our example is void. So void is nothing. Okay, which means we are not returning anything out of this method execution. Okay, so why this method signature is very important. So looking at the method signature, okay, you are indicating the caller of this method. Okay, how to call this method, how they can access this method. Okay, and if there are any exceptions. I mean, what exceptions that you're going to get out of this method? If we are attempting to execute a particular method, if there is some problem is going to happen with that method, so then that is something we should be indicating in the method declaration. Okay. So method declarations are very important. So let me show you one example from. Okay, maybe we will see those examples once we complete all the discussion about method signature. Okay, so then moving ahead, so the return type is if we are not returning anything, then we have to quote it as void. Suppose if you are returning any specific data type, so you have to write the data types. So what are the data types there? Available data types. There will be two kind of data types here, which is primitive and others are complex. Okay, the primitive data types includes integer, float, double, char, I can say character, I have to write like this, float, char, double, byte, what else? Long. So these are primitive data types. In the complex data types, complex data types or something like string we have seen now. In our previous example, I've written print as all the classes are going to be data types are going to be a complex data type. String is also a class for your information. And execute is one class which we have written. So any class so that we are instantiating is going to be a complex data type. So you have to return either of them, like primitive data types or complex data types, at this particular place in your method signature. Okay. So, and then, so far clear with the return type, any questions here? So we will come to know the return type in some time. I mean, that executing how the return type works with respect to code, I'll come to that. But with respect to this theoretical explanation, any doubt overall so far?
No, Kalyan.
Okay. So method name is just random name, whichever we are preferring to put to our method, which we are writing. Okay. So methods or also we call it as functions. Okay, you don't have to confuse that. The function or method, you can call anything for it. Okay, and then arguments. Okay, arguments is something that you see here. Okay, string, array, args. So this is a standard main method signature. Okay, so you see here, public is a access specifier, static, non-static, and return type. They have written, and the main is a method name. Okay, and once we go into these arguments, we see arguments that we have to pass to execute this method. Okay, these are necessary arguments to be there when someone is executing this method. So Java compiler will be executing this method, passing appropriate signature. So how to call this method basically? So if you want to call this method, then suppose this main class, this method is in the main class. Okay, so they will be in the main class. And this method will be inside this one. Inside the class. So if someone is calling this method, so they have to call main.main of, so they have to pass arguments. Okay, so like so they have to mention a string arrays like args, like names. I can write in the flower brackets. I kill etc. We can write these names here and pass to the main method like names. Okay, so hence we are, as it is a static method, we are calling with class reference and with method name, dot method name, and arguments that are necessary for this method we are passing here. Okay, and based on that, inside the logic we can write. So if you want to hello world and then get one, if they write some logic here, that will be executed. So this is how the method signature looks like and how to call this method. Okay, and those are various method names, various method return types that are available for us now. Okay, yeah, that is how it is. So now the next step is, as part of our class today, so we learn method signature, all this stuff. So let's see how to execute this particular method. Okay, how to so I'll be writing a method signature. So now each one of you is going to help me out to call that particular method. Okay, so we will see them. Let me share my ID.
Yeah, yes, Kalyan.
Okay, so here is the place where you have to help me out. So the call, once I execute the main method, this main method will be executed. So now I'm going to write a method like execute. So execute method have to have, execute is a method name, and I'm trying to make a private access specifier, and I'm trying to leave it as non-static and return type as integer. And trying to pass integer type variable and of variable name as number. Okay, and return number into okay. Let me put it as double. Okay. This method $2 INR is going to give us INR in return if you pass a number to it. So now who can help me? Oh, yeah, you can literally tell me the code so that I can write it here.
So I can write an object like a dollar D equal to new dollar.
$D is equals to new dollar.
And I will call with D dot $2 INR.
Okay. D dot $2 INR. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, Palya.
It's giving some errors. Let's see one by one. Side. So here it is showing dollar. So cannot resolve symbol dollar. So which means it is looking for a dollar class or dollar data type.
Yes.
So
We need to create an
we need to create what?
Class.
Yeah, we need to create a class. Yeah, but that's going to be a completely different topic. I mean, we will create a class, that's okay. But right now, my agenda is to just call this method from this existing class, $2 INR method.
So it's a private method, but we can call return type will be the integer. So
Yeah, let me try to print this. So in the sysout, I'm printing
That's what I thought.
the INR for $10 is okay. The method call has to happen here. So I'll tell you the example now. Then maybe I'll answer this question for now, and maybe from the next question you guys can pitch in. Okay. So as this is a private method, I don't need to worry about it, and we are within the class. I can directly access this method. Am I correct?
Yeah.
And this is non-static method. So to call the non-static members, we have to instantiate the class, which is main is equals to new main. Okay. So we have main class instantiation is done. So I can call with this instantiation object. So main dot. Okay. So it is recommending us to call $2 INR, right? I can pass $2 INR. So just a random number I can pass because I have mentioned it as $10 here. I'm passing 10 here. Okay. So let me put it here. I'm passing 10 here. So So how the execution will be happening here? So if I pass 10, dollar to INR method 10 is passed. So it will come 10. The number variable in the dollar to INR method will be catching this 10 variable. So once the call happened to this method, so the 10 variable will be passed to number variable. 10 value will be passed to number variable. And how the execution will happen? So it is saying that return. So whenever you write return, so that statement indicates that. So from this line, you are going to get something out of this method. Okay. So the number 10 is passed here. 10 into 83.17 is some decimal value that we have written. And in return, we are getting whatever multiplied with 10 is returning as variable. So the return type is 83.17 into 10, which is a double variable, is returned back as a summary of this logic. Okay, and that will be printed. That should be printed. So let's execute this. The INR for $10 is 831.7. Okay, so this is how the method should be called. Okay, now let me. Okay, so I mean, I think we are good at this time with this method calls so far. Any doubts on this?
It's
Let me complete. Let me try to complete it. Arrays, right? Okay. Let me write table array. Okay. And dollar to dollars. Okay. So now we are going to expect an integer array, like numbers. So you know for loop, how it works? Hope I think you are aware. So I'm writing for each loop. Okay, integer is a data type, and then number. And for each number, each number will be retrieved from the list of numbers. Okay, and then I'm instantiating double data type, double integer array. Piece. Okay, it's not return. Let's use the double data type. Okay, I'm going to call this method let me put it as static now. So now, Sai, can you help me calling this method? In the meanwhile, I'll try to write the logic for this method. Okay. So
Yeah.
let's assume integer array as numbers. So numbers is something we have to declare. That is of integer array number
Numbers
is equals to like 10, 20, 30, 40, like this. Okay, so we are good to pass this numbers to get the result of
dollars to n.
INRs. Okay,
Yeah.
so then rupees is equals to rupees plus this one. So if you're passing 10, 20, 30, 40, overall 70, $100 if you're passing. So you have to get return how much multiplied by INRs. Okay, I'm executing this main method. Okay, I need to call INR here, right? See, I'm calling this $to INR method here again, passing this number. Okay, did you understand this logic? So I'm trying to call this other method from this method, passing number, because this other method is just need a number. Okay, and calling this number, passing this number variable as a parameter. Okay, let's try to execute this example. There is some error somewhere. Start. Missing return statement. Okay. Return rupees. It is executed. All the numbers that we pass. So every number it is executing here. It is calling this, it is passing to this method, and we are iterating the numbers. And for each number, we are calculating the value, summing up with the rupees and returning it back. Okay. Hope you clear with this explanation so far.